And then he goes, oh my God, is someone in the vent recording us? And I start crying.
I would too.
I am on this man's floor, sobbing and throwing up.
I'm so sorry.
It kind of is funny.
Okay,
Kinda.
but if something comes up with this though, this man, from what you told me, he does have a ton of followers. You can put this man on blast.
I mean, he's going to put you on blast.
I'm going to put him on blast.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Him. I literally just walked upon having beef with the Nelk Boys. Like,
have you've seen his?
He's in the Nelk Boys video.
He's actually in the video.
Yeah. Okay. The last thing I texted you was that I was going to go on this guy's podcast. I matched with him on Bumble, and in his bio, it was like, oh, I do a podcast. And he is, like, staying in the same city that I am. I was like, okay, this looks cool. Like, maybe we can be friends and talk about podcast stuff.
Right, a good connection.
I matched with this man. He messages me and is like, you seem too good to be true. Like, that's so cool that you do a podcast. Da-da-da. And I was like, okay, like, that seems normal. Like, that seems pretty nice. We get to talking on Snapchat, and we're just talking, like, normally. And then he's like, oh, like, do you want to come over and talk about podcasts? And then do you want to come on my podcast in, like, a few days? I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And at this point, I'm like, I'm living in my car. Like, I don't have anything to lose. Like, I'm gonna go. So, pull up to this man's crib. I get out of the car, and I open the gate, and I notice there's just security cameras, like, everywhere. And it's a small apartment.
It's a little sus.
It's a little sus. Oh, and we'll give this guy a name, a fake name.
Okay.
We're going to call him Todd.
Okay.
Todd. Yeah, I like that.
For sure.
So Todd over here.
Okay.
It's like, all right, come inside, like, let's go. So I go inside. Mind you, it's like 1 a.m. because I was hanging out with other people before that. So I showed up at like 1 a.m. And I go inside, and I'm sleep deprived. I'm tired. I had Instacarted like all day. When you're tired and sleep deprived and like dehydrated, I feel like you're not fully self-aware.
Right, yeah.
Like, you're not as psychoanalyzing everyone and not as aware as you usually are.
Mm-hmm.
Right when I got there, he was like, tell me your life story. Like, start to finish. How did you end up living in your car? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, can you explain it to me? And I'm like, yeah, dude, like, totally. So, and I'm so sleep deprived. I'm telling, like, this whole story, start to finish, of my life story. So, like, 45 minutes go by of me telling the story. And he's just, like, giving me this really intense eye contact.
Okay.
Like dead eyes, but, like, crazy eyes.
Okay. So it's like more than just he's listening.
Exactly. It was
There's
like
something else.
It felt like, I don't know, it was just weird, but I didn't think anything of it because I was so just kind of out of it. And
right.
When you're in the moment, it's like you're not thinking about it until later. So I'm sitting there, and 45 minutes go by. I told the story, and I go, you know, you kind of have sociopath eyes. Has anyone ever told you that?
Oh,
like,
okay.
I just said
Get
that.
right to the point.
I was just flat out.
Yeah.
Flat out, straight to the point. And he goes, yeah, actually, people have told me that. And I go, for some reason, I just didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay.
Red flag, though.
Red flag, though.
Major red flag.
Major red flag.
Major red flag there.
Not good. But right after that is, like, he starts complimenting me and, like, saying, like, oh, like, I want to take you to New York. Like, we can go on business trips to New York. And you can be, like, the Tana Mojo to my Bryce Hall. And, like, we can help each other and become #1 podcast and all this stuff. I'm like, this sounds way too good to be true. But obviously, it's so charming and coming off, like, everything I want to hear.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, like, that sounds great. I'm in. So then we go to bed because I was so tired. Go to bed. I wake up the next morning, and I leave early in the morning because I had a therapy appointment. So I leave. And then he's like, oh, do you want to come back later tonight? You can spend the night, and then early in the morning we can do a podcast. And I was like, yeah. that sounds great. Let's do it. So.
Stop. I'm on edge here. What is it?
Don't leave out any details.
Please.
I won't. And this is where it gets good. So I go back there the next night. And I got some sleep that night.
Well rested.
I was well rested. My mind.
You're on your A game.
I was on my A game.
Yeah.
My mind was clearer.
Okay.
I was psychoanalyzing the fuck out of this man.
Yeah, and you're really good at it too, so. I already know.
Thank you. You know, I've had my fair shares of sociopaths and narcissists. I can spot them now, like, especially sociopaths. Anyways, so I go there the next night, and I think I got there at 12. I was still pretty tired, though, and I had a stressful day because I Instacarted, 12 hours, and I was done. I was done for. All I wanted to do was take some dabs and chill and, talk about podcasts. So I get there, and we go in his room, and I'm sitting down, and I'm, getting all my dab stuff out, getting ready to take a dab. And he starts playing, really loud music, like rock metal, which is, fine, right? That's a vibe, whatever. But it's, really loud. and then he starts, running around his room, kicking and, yelling. I'm like, are you on drugs? Or
right.
What are you doing?
Like you would do in a mosh pit or something?
Yeah, like you would do in a mosh pit. And it was he was acting super hyper. But he wasn't acting this way before. Okay. And I was like, what the fuck? And I could tell in that moment that he was doing it on purpose. Like he wanted to get an emotional reaction out of me. And I was like, okay, this is weird, but I'm just going to ignore it. So then he starts talking about a serial killer that's there's a serial killer in...
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that in the Sacramento area.
In the Sacramento area. And so he kept talking about that and bringing it up and being like, but this is way better than your car, right? Right? Because there's no serial killer here, right? This is way better, right? And just getting in my face, yelling at me, yelling this in my face.
Oh my God.
And then hitting me. You know when people
do this thing when they're trying to get your attention.
He was doing that on my leg and just shaking me, and I was just instead of a fight or flight response, it was more of a freeze. I was just frozen. I was just what is going on?
In shock, yeah.
I was just in shock. Well, first I was like, are you you're a sociopath? I was like, you're a sociopath. Do you have severe ADHD? What? He's like, yeah, no, I just have severe ADHD, and was trying to give that as an excuse. Okay. And then completely changed the conversation and starts telling me, you're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen. Your eyes are none other than I've seen, your freckles, da-da-da. You have to know that you're above average, da-da-da. And I'm like, wow, you are love bombing the fuck out of me. Everything you're saying is a lie. What the fuck are you saying? He sounded crazy. And
well, you are beautiful, but but in that instance, the way it came up is very nerve-wracking.
In that instance of pivoting the conversation so abruptly and just love bombing, using charm and compliments as a form of manipulation, huge red flag. Mm-hmm. So bad. Mind you, I feel sick to my stomach. I'm getting such bad vibes. I feel like I'm about to throw up.
Oh my God.
Because he's being so intense. And I said that multiple times. I was like, hey, you're really stressing me out right now. Can you please calm down? And he just wouldn't. He just kept bouncing, screaming. I'm just and so I'm like, okay, do you want a dab? Can you calm down? I'm just thinking a dab would work. Maybe he does have ADHD. I don't know. So I'm trying to get my dab stuff together. And then he goes over and turns off the light. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm about to die.
Oh my God.
This is it.
Was the music still playing?
The music stopped.
Okay.
The music's off. He turns off the light.
Is it completely pitch black or is it
completely pitch black? I am on the floor. I'm sitting on the floor. My stomach hurts. I feel like I'm about to throw up. And then I see a red light coming out of the vent.
No way.
Coming out of the vent. And he says to me, oh, backstory really quick. This is crazy, by the way. He had previously told me how he thinks that the cartel is after him because like a year ago, these anonymous guys would send him thousands of dollars from all over, like, the world and, like, pay him to do certain, like, prank videos because he has a channel where he does pranks, I guess. And then they would send him thousands of dollars, but then he finally was like, I'm not doing business with faceless people. Yeah. And then now he thinks that they're after him, and that's why he has security cameras everywhere. And so he told me that earlier, right? So now I'm on the floor and I'm thinking,
you're about to die.
I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking this red laser light in the vent is like the cartel, like in the vent recording us, and then they're about to kidnap us. Like, which now like doesn't make any sense. But in the moment, I thought I was gonna die and get kidnapped. So yeah, I see this red light, and then he goes, "Oh my God, is someone in the vent recording us?" And I start crying. I would too. I'm just like, what the fuck? Then I hear him laughing.
No.
Yeah, and then he turns on the light and pulls out a laser pointer.
No.
A fucking laser pointer. He pointed a laser pointer at the vent to try to convince me that was happening, just to, like, get an emotional reaction out of me, to, like, make me cry, to scare me, like, all of the above. And right after that... Right when he turned on the light and he's laughing, I start throwing up. I am on this man's floor, sobbing and throwing up. Because I'm so stressed out and scared. And I told him, I was like, I'm so stressed out, you're going to make me throw up. Like, And then right after that, right after I was done throwing up, I didn't clean that shit up.
Well, it was just on the ground? Yeah. Like, not even close to the bathroom?
Yep, nope, on the ground.
Okay, good for you. He totally deserves that.
Yeah, he can clean that up.
Yeah.
And I got my shit, and I started leaving, and he says to me, "Are you sure you want to go out there when the serial killer's out there?"
No.
You know I'm not the serial killer.
No.
And I go... I'll take my fucking chances with the serial killer, you fucking sociopath.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Like, verbatim. And then I got in my car, and I went back to the place that I sleep at.
Oh, my God.
And...
Is that the end of the story?
Oh, no. So then I block him.
Okay.
And he DMs Philip, the podcast producer.
No way.
Yep, he did. So he reaches out to me, and I see it in my DM request. I check him every once in a while, but I check my DM request, and he says, "Hey, have you seen Megan? She just disappeared."
Oh, my God.
And so I was like, damn it, Megan's going to cancel on me for the podcast. So I send Megan a screenshot of the DM. I'm like, "Hey, are you good? Who the fuck is this dude?" And she's like, "Oh, no, don't respond to him. He's crazy." So I don't respond to him. And today, the day of the podcast, he likes one of my pictures and he comments, "Hey, please check your DMs. It's urgent," or something.
What the fuck? What is that? Is that not a form of stalking?
It is. No, for sure.
That's why I locked the door, and I was like, just in case he's, you know.
Bro. Is that not fucking insane?
That's fucking terrifying. Okay, you're making me... I just created a theory listening to the story. First off, I am so sorry you had to go through that. That is absolutely, undeniably terrifying, blood-curdling, horrifyingly traumatizing.
It was, dude.
I mean, especially to the point where you're throwing up. I mean, that makes complete sense. I mean, holy shit, you know? That's scary as fuck.
It was so fucking, like, it's like when something like that happens, it's almost like your brain takes days to process. Like, my brain's still processing it. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It was fucked up.
That's so scary. Especially with the serial killer running around. Okay, what if that man is the serial killer? Like,
dude.
First off, the camera excuse that he had makes no sense. Having those cameras would be to tell if someone is investigating his property. And the laser could just be an excuse for having a camera in his bedroom. And the laser just making you think that there's no camera there when there actually is.
Yeah, you were being recorded, man.
Yeah, definitely being recorded. You guys, like, didn't do the do or anything, did you?
See, I told you not to leave out any details, you ass.
Oh.
It was the first night, not the second.
No, okay, yeah.
I thought he was normal.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's fine. Did you do it in his bedroom? In the same room where you saw the... Oh, my God. I'm sorry. It's not funny. It's not funny. I'm so sorry.
It kind of is funny.
Okay.
Kinda.
But if something comes up with this, though, this man, from what you told me, he does have a ton of followers. You can put this man on blast.
I mean, he's going to put you on blast.
I'm going to put him on blast.
No, but that's
It's
what
me
I'm saying.
him.
That's what I'm saying is, like, this is happening before anything comes out or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, you have witnesses.
Yeah.
You have his DMs. Like,
that's true.
Literally, I would not be shocked if you went to the cops about this right now.
Honestly, a lot of, like, friends who I've talked to about it were telling me, like, maybe you should get a restraining order. And now I'm honestly considering it, especially DMing you. Like, how did he even find your page, first of all?
Okay,
like,
so I was wondering the same thing, but then your last post, Megan, on, like, the fourth picture, you tagged Pod Dog Studios.
Oh, I did.
So
I
it's
did.
like, I was like, okay, well, obviously that's how. Because at first I was like,
fuck.
what the how does dude find me?
Yeah,
Oh.
no.
And then I was like, oh, wait,
That
never
makes
mind.
so much sense. That makes sense. Okay, so it's not as crazy, but it's still insane.
Okay, so you have blocked him. Have you blocked him?
I didn't block him because I kind of wanted to see what would happen next. Megan was like, block him, and then I didn't, and then he liked one of my pictures and then commented what I told you.
Oh, my God.
Like, hey, check your DMs. It's urgent.
Okay, so this man is obviously certified psycho.
Yeah.
And,
Isn't that crazy? Like, I literally just walked upon having beef with the Nelk Boys. Like,
have you've seen his...
If that's his way of thinking and how he treats people, he's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But it's scary that he has a platform. That's scary. But he's definitely...
How long ago was the other channel? Like, did he stop doing the other channel?
Oh, he's still doing the other channel.
Oh, okay.
And it's like prank videos, and I'm pretty sure they're so cringy. I couldn't even bring myself to watch one. And the thing is, he got flown out by these famous YouTubers. You know the Nelk Boys?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he got flown out by them and got to, like, stay overnight.
How do you know?
So he showed me the video. He's in the video. He's in the Nelk Boys video.
He's actually in the video.
Yeah. So one of his prank videos. So before he had this YouTube channel, he had a combined YouTube channel with his friends, and it was like a combined prank channel, and they would just do pranks. And they had this one prank called the Big Like Jewel, and they would go around, and it got like 7.8 million views, I believe. And so the Nelk Boys reached out to him because of that video and flew them out and helped them. I think they filmed another, like, Big Jewel video in LA with the Nelk Boys. And he showed me the video, and I, like, thought it was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm just like, damn, like, I feel like he's obviously a sociopath for sure. Like,
something's deeply wrong there.
Definitely. And I feel like doing pranks, you kind of have to have a low empathy in order to keep that up. And he does it, like, all the time. He's like, oh, I got to film a new prank video. Like,
so he enjoys seeing that reaction from people.
100%.
That's serial killer vibes.
Yeah.
That's literally serial killer vibes.
It really is.
And psychopath. Like, they like seeing those emotions from people because they don't have them themselves.
Exactly. And it makes them feel power over you.
Yeah.
I have such good warning signs
Yeah.
for sociopaths. Like, if they have dead eyes, if they use charm to manipulate you, like if what they're saying is too good to be true, most of the time it is. And I also live by this rule called the 90% rule.
Mm-hmm.
And what the 90% rule is basically if someone is doing something and if you're like, you know what, 90% of people wouldn't do that, that's a red flag. The 90% rule, I feel like that's some shit to live by.
Yeah. I think that is kind of a hard rule to live by, but I get what you're saying there. That, like, if that's not basic human, if it's, like, way out of the ordinary,
Yeah.
you know, it's not funny, it's not enjoyable, it's not quirky, it's not cute,
Yeah.
it's fucking scary.
Yeah.
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 That's red flags, red flags, red flags, red flags. Get your ass out of there.
Definitely. And I feel like if you're alone with someone and they make you feel scared to be alone with them, that is number one red flag.
Yeah. And that's not something you give a second chance on either. Especially when you're starting to know someone, like they make you uncomfortable, not in like the, oh, I'm nervous. Right. Not in like that, but like in the, I don't know what the is going on here right now. And I'm low key, like, don't know if my life is going to continue. You know, like you don't know, you really don't have any assurance that you're safe.
Yeah. It's like you're confused too.
Yeah. You're confused. Like anything like that, it's not going to go away. Yeah. You might be able to convince yourself that, oh, they're fine. You know, like they're not going to hurt me. They have good intentions. But most of the time that does not go away.